the Friendverse podcast. This is Wandia.
And this is Shiko, and thank you for joining us for another episode. As usual, we'll start with a little reading of something that touched Wandia. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm currently reading If Beale Street Could Talk.
Oh, there's a movie.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Oh, okay.
And there's quite a bit of hype. So me, I was like, Actually, I was told by someone about the movie to see even the trailer. Then I was like, actually, there's a book. So I was very inspired after watching the little trailer. So it's by James Baldwin. And I really love his books because he has a lovely way with words. And so this is just a very tiny section as I was reading. His face was bigger than the world, his eyes deeper than the sun, more vast than the desert. All that had ever happened since time began was in his face.
Oh, that's a very good... that's deep, man.
That's deep.
It makes you think about that face. Like, what face could
Yeah.
he be describing that
That face.
looks like that? You know what I mean?
Right.
Or makes you feel that way.
Yeah, so full, so wholesome, and I was just like, whew, this. So this is between the two characters who are in a relationship. So it's like a love story, and the way she describes him, oh my God,
Is that what love is,
just,
you
It
guys?
just made me realize, damn girl, have you ever felt
Exactly.
these
I was
things?
about to say, like, have you ever felt that way? Like, have you ever looked at someone and felt that way about
Yeah,
their
like,
face?
I'm just like, woo, I feel very, young and fresh after reading this. And the interesting part is they're very, very young. But of course, this is now James Baldwin's words. But he really brings to life this, this budding relationship. And oh, I can't wait to read more. Of course, the different segments. And oh, yeah, I think I'm really enjoying it.
Is this the point where I confess I've not read James Baldwin? I mean, I started Giovanni's Room. I've not finished.
Oh my
I
God, I
started
loved-
Native Son. I haven't finished. I know you loved it. I follow you on Goodreads.
Yeah, like it was just, oh, yes. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's those ones for different books, different people. It's like the Haruki
Murakami.
girl.
No,
I've been trying.
I know it came with a disclaimer that Norwegian Wood was the one that I liked.
Yeah.
That is the one I liked for sure.
Actually, I don't think it was even you who recommended. I think I was talking to someone else, and then they were like, actually, this guy is a really famous
He is.
writer. Then also at that point, I was thinking about, traveling to Japan. I wanted to get cherry blossom tattoos.
Japan 2020 for the
Yeah,
Olympics.
exactly. Okay. Uh-huh.
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, Shiko has put it out there.
Let's go, people.
Let us go. Let's pay those tickets. Yay!
If you start saving as soon
If
as
you
you
start
hear this
saving.
podcast, we can make it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So today we're going to have a conversation about social media and this idea that some of our personas seem very accessible and people may have this idea of us, but it's not always 100%. We always hear this phrase of, oh, I know her in person and she seems like a very different person, or she seems nice, yet maybe on Twitter it's a different person that comes to light. So how do you handle yourself on social media, Shiko?
So there's this idea of how you curate yourself on social media, because the truth is no one is seeing 100% of anyone. Even those people who vlog on YouTube, their daily lives and whatever, we are still not getting, to see this person. So I feel like as the consumers, there are those of us who have unmerited expectations of how someone how someone is, just because we consume what it is that they put out. Okay, so like for me, I don't have a big digital footprint because I am not on Facebook. My Twitter is on private and I'm on hiatus at the moment. My Snapchat, I only have like 6 people and I don't even use it anymore like I did
Everyone
before.
left
I
Snapchat.
know we are all on IG. And then I have 2 IG accounts. One is the one where my family is and I post pictures of myself. And then I have the public account where I mostly have it because of IG stories. So I was thinking about my IG stories because I follow like people who are digital influencers and I see how they do their IG stories where it's very you can tell like it's a curated um, part of their life, like they, because they have to do this for a job. There's no way I believe that this is how they are, you know, in real life. Okay, I know social media is real life, but do you get what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, and maybe I'm not even answering your question, but what I'm saying is,
No, I'm getting how you handle your
yes,
social media
yes.
profiles. Yeah.
So for me, it's like, oh, this is something interesting. I'm going to take a picture and say something about it. Oh, I'm reading this and I want to share. Or I've had this thought, and now that I'm not on Twitter, I'll share it on Instagram. You know, like that.
Something that comes up to me is, why do you have different, like your IG profiles? You say this one is for your family, where your family is. So like, why do you feel the need to like have this split type of content that you give to this IG account, and this other IG account is like different?
Because I've just, ever since I've been on social media, I've just never put my face out there.
Yeah.
Like I'll meet people off social media, I'll do all those things, but I've just never been a big person on posting my pictures on social media. So I'm very free to share what I'm doing or what I'm looking at or what I'm listening to, but I won't show you my face.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, I have all this family that's out of the country, and I just want to curate moments with my friends, my family here, what we are doing. Oh, I went here, or today is my wedding anniversary, so I post a picture on my, the other IG account that I ignore requests to follow. But yeah, so I think it's wrong for people who assume that they know you just because they've read your tweets or they follow you on IG, and so they know that I eat, morning glory cornflakes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I just put it on IG, but that doesn't mean, it's just something I thought that was interesting to put out. And for me, I feel like it's very different from those who are digital influencers versus those who are just, it's like a diary. I don't know how else to put it. It's like a diary.
Us guys.
Yeah.
For us, it's like, this is my diary.
Yes.
Gather round and listen to my innermost thoughts.
I know. I'm sharing a part of my life with you. Why don't you, join me on this journey? And I think now that being on social media is a job, as consumers, we sit back and look at these people who do it as a job, and they keep telling us, this is authentic content, and but now that's where my issue comes in, where I'm like, is it really authentic if you're being paid to do it? But you still want the authentic badge on it, even though it has this other added thing on it. But even before we get there, how do you handle your social media, Wandia?
Well, I'll start with this. So I am on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Snapchat, but yeah, as Shiko said, everyone left Snapchat. And so I was a heavy Snapchatter. I really liked Snapchat. I think if you've also read our blog on Definitely for Fatties, I posted how like Snapchat helped me appreciate my body in a different way. So you can translate that as you want. Go and read the post. But I think there is something about, having yourself on camera without, the edits. Of course, those filters, there's all these things. But meeting yourself in the mirror like that sometimes helps you make peace with some things. And I think that will always be the case whenever I get on camera, because you see yourself in in that raw way before you put even the filter. Because now we put the filter and other people will see you in a different way. But now making the shift to Instagram, I always felt like Instagram was it is so like doctored or very artificial. People really do have a lot of just happy lives. Your Instagram is just those happy moments. That picture you took when you went on holiday, that time you went for this concert, and that's a lot of many Instagram accounts. That's how I feel about it. And then I think it was important for me to now seek content that made me feel more authentic or more connected to things that I appreciate or like. So whether it means fat women, fat black women on my feed who are not trying to put filters, who make me feel comfortable in the skin that I am in, or who make me feel like, yes, there is space for me on Instagram. And granted that my Instagram profile is private, but I feel like for the people who actually follow me, so I'm really big on having like just a group of 20 people who are able to see, especially my Instagram stories. You probably be able to follow my profile, but you can't really see my stories, because my stories, I will be very insistent that you will see the good as well as the bad, because I think I'm particular of people just seeing me as this fun person who just maybe dances and maybe lives a very privileged life, because let's say you're traveling, you're eating cool meals, and people begin to treat you in a different way because they have this assumption. And I think Twitter is big on that, where they make assumptions about you and your life, people you hang out with, and you find people will want to treat you in a way, it might be in a negative way, or they'll form judgment about that. And I don't know, people get triggered by such things. You may be having a bad day and you're just seeing someone's life is popping, and you kind of get mad at that.
By then you can't help and compare.
Yeah.
I know people are like, oh, why are you comparing and whatever, but I feel like, we spend so much time scrolling on our phones, and and then we are people who have goals and ideals of how our life should be, and then you look at online and see this person is doing this or wearing that or whatever, and there's a piece of you that is,
I wish I could do that.
yes, or
What did she do
exactly
so that she can do this, and how come I don't have it? So it kind of becomes, you see, that comparison thing, or it's a competition, or you begin to feel negativity towards this person because they're living a life that you probably are not living. But you see, on the flip side, it's like you do not know the entire story. You do not
That
know
is the thing.
other than that.
Yeah.
And it's very automatic for people to share just the good stuff on social media.
Because that's what gets the likes, and
Yeah, that's
you,
what gets
because
the
I feel like even when someone is like, let's say, having a bad day, the post that they'll post, the picture, let's say, okay, so I'm talking about Instagram mostly. So they'll post this picture of like something beautiful, and then they will write, oh, I'm having a bad day, I'm feeling anxious, blah, blah, blah. But the picture they've posted is still a pretty picture. So when you like that picture, are you liking the picture or are you liking the caption? So I'm always like, I find it just interesting. I find it fascinating because I'm not judging anyone. Do your social media, like, whatever. I'm not sitting here thinking that I know you. I know this is curated.
Yeah.
I know,
I mean,
but I feel like at some point we need to be more honest with each other, with what we are showing, with what, and I feel like we talk about it so often, but no one is doing it. It's always like, oh, let's be more authentic. Oh, let's be honest. Yeah. Oh, let's be... But no one is taking that first step to be honest. We are still curating. And when I say we, I mean it's everyone. I mean it's even me,
Yeah.
But
It's it's performative because
Yes.
for all of us, we already are very careful about what we're posting on social media.
Exactly.
And the fact that you are filtering that, it's already something that you're controlling others to see from the get-go.
And you know, that's the thing. I'm always like, you're not posting this for yourself. Because if you wanted to post it for yourself, you should have put it in the notepad app. You take a
It's so
picture
true.
or a video with your camera and store it on your phone. But the moment you're putting it on social media, it's out there to be received and to be perceived by people. Granted, there are people who make comments that are unwarranted and whatnot, but this is about the intent behind posting things, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, like, there could be also the idea of you see something cool and you want to share it with other people and everything. But sometimes I'm like, yeah, even this, very intense, deep post, you share it, but this may not even be something that you're applying in your life.
No.
You know? Sometimes I might be on Tumblr and see something very nice and spiritual, and then I will share it on my Instagram stories. And probably someone will be like, damn, Tess, I mean, Wandia is so deep and is so inspirational, and she does this whole Zen thing. I may post that I'm hoping to do this yoga thing,
meditating.
meditating, and yet maybe I got to meditating after 5 minutes. I was just like, oh,
I'm
damn.
done. That's me.
Like,
Honestly, I've
woo.
tried meditating. Let me not even lie. But my mind just wanders. What is the trick, guys? What is the trick
The trick is to just actually sit in that discomfort.
of your mind wandering?
Yeah, of your mind let it wander and everything, and always bring yourself back. So you can even chant something, or you can have beads so that it brings you back. So maybe at this point where you're struggling to,
Still
settle
your
your
mind.
you can have something that helps you come back. So sometimes people use beads. I know, very Catholic of it, yeah. But you can use beads, you can use a chant, like, breathing in, I am happy, something, I smile. Some of these chants help you also use your breath. So also sometimes it tells you, breathe in like you're coming from your toes, and then let it go. Breathing in and you feel your toes. So it's like those little actions where you're doing a body check kind of stills you into looking at this motion of taking breath from your toes to your head, to your toes. So in those beginning moments when you're doing meditation, it's like try to make it mechanical, so you can be comfortable even thinking that, oh man, even my ass is a bit sore, you're tired of sitting. So you give yourself all these excuses. Your brain is the one fighting against this idea of just sitting and being still.
I'll try, and then I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, you can even start with you're lying down flat.
Me, I know myself. I
You
can't even
sleep.
sleep. Kumbe, you know.
Yeah.
On brand.
Anyway, yeah, back to it. People will share things that they're not even practicing. Like, it's something that they're controlling for you to see. Yeah. So we can't be 100% certain that what you're posting is going to be 100% you. So I was also reading another article. I think someone was actually tweeting this idea for having back-to-back or back and forth arguments on social media. And I mean, this also seems like a segue to this idea of this topic of feminism, where we are with our feminism. And I mean, Shiko and I, there was a time when we were talking about feminism, we were talking about body politics, where, you'll argue with that dude from that end of Twitter, and you're really in it. You want to argue, you want to say your point is this, this, and this. And then this tweet read that this person who you're doing this back and forth with, who you're putting your emotional vulnerability there, you're hurt, you're very passionate, you're very emotional about this thing, let's say it's feminism, around let's say even access to family planning, access to contraception, and you probably have faced something personal like that in your life. You're sharing this information, but this person you're arguing with has not a care. They want to be right. They do not care that you probably maybe experienced a life-threatening abortion, or that you could not access this type of contraceptive, and now you took something else that probably messed up your body, all these things. They don't care. They don't have the context, and even if you give them, they'll just be like, no, this is what it is. So often we put ourselves emotionally bare. We frustrate ourselves, this back and forth.
You make
To what
yourself
end?
angry.
You make yourself angry.
You even get home and you're like, what the hell? And it was just okay. I know the importance of Twitter, and I know people learn and people change and all that, but and maybe that's part of why I'm off Twitter, is that I felt like it was making me angry.
Yeah.
And I just didn't need that in my life, and I'm better off not being on Twitter. But I get it. I get why people want argue and do the back and forth. But the truth is that other person probably doesn't care.
Yeah,
You're
not
right.
at all.
Most often than not, they do not care.
Yeah.
You
They've
know.
come to the timeline with this idea that, abortion is wrong. It has some, fuzzy thing to do with morality and all this.
and religion.
And you're not gonna
Change
their
them.
minds on the timeline. You will not be the one to change their minds. I definitely agree there is that huge benefit that Twitter is a wonderful place to learn. And also for me, for that reason, I kind of stepped back from Twitter, or you started using Twitter in a different way, because I felt like there was so much spilling of negative energy in my being that I felt like even just a random scroll, I get, that hurt in my, I feel pain. And I'm like, damn, I just came for the jokes. I just came to my timeline. And, with Twitter, you receive from all corners. All corners. And you don't know what it is coming to your timeline. It will just be there. All of it. It's not filtered. You may be having a bad day, and then it just comes to your social media page. And I feel like Twitter, as compared to these other platforms where you have maybe a friends list and everything, is very different because there's no filtering. It will come its way. You can't control your
I don't know.
followers.
No, but you can turn off. Like, okay, there was a time I had really curated my timeline on Twitter that something could be happening and I don't know it's happening unless someone mentions it to me.
But then you see that now kills the point of Twitter.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe,
in
no, I get what you're saying. And maybe that's why it was easy for me to live and not feel any pressure. Even now when I'm like I reactivated the account, I'm not using it. I'm not going on Twitter. I haven't downloaded the app on my phone. And part of it I feel is like towards the end of when I was getting onto my hiatus, I had really curated my timeline such that I had muted people, I had unfollowed people, I turned off artists for like everyone I was following. So it was a very curated timeline, which, and maybe that's why it was easy for me to live, and now I don't feel like I'm missing anything. But it must be said, when I was on Twitter, I was able to plug my blog more than right now that I'm not on Twitter. Like you can see a difference in readership from when I'd put it on Twitter and from when I left Twitter. And for me, because I just write to write, I don't write to increase my views, or for me it's not a job. I write because I enjoy it. It's not a big deal, but it's definitely there's something to be said about Twitter insights and what they do for other spaces that you have. So how come you take hiatuses? Like, I don't know what to call them. Like when you leave and then you go back. Why do you do it?
I remember my last hiatus. So I just reactivated for December, just to know where the plan is and just to, revel with the fun. But even then I realized, geez, Twitter is such an intense place. So after I came from Nyege Nyege, so that's that festival in Uganda, I was really upbeat. I felt very, psyched, and I had a lot of energy. And then, that whole, after you come from a really huge high, there's this low that comes slowly. It kind of creeps up on you and it kind of shocks you. And I just felt like, whew, this is a lot to be dealing with. And then I thought I could go on Twitter to, like let loose some of that. And then I felt like Twitter was also bringing some, heavy stuff at me. And I was just like, I can't do both of these at the same time. And I was like, why am I actually still on Twitter? I feel like there's so much transference there. And I was like, I need a break from that to just focus on me. I want my issues. Because, now when you're on like Twitter, especially, you pick up a cause very easily. Because,
And it's very distractive. I think of all the social media, Twitter was quite a distraction for me.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. Go on.
Yeah, so, I had all these things going on at work, in my personal life. I just come from this amazing thing that I was feeling like, whew, the low is now starting to set in, that thing that shocks you out of nowhere. And I just felt like I needed time to step away from Twitter and center myself. And I think at that period is when I started asking myself, like, what exactly do I get from Twitter that I would miss when I'm away? And I was like, oh, it's probably the people. Then I was like, actually, everyone who I want to speak with is already able to catch me on another platform where it's more direct, me and them. It's not in public
Where
or
people can join
where
the
people can join into
the
the
conversation.
conversation. And I'm like, okay, who are you though? So I was like, I'm holding on to this, and firstly, it's not giving me something that I need right now, and in general, actually. And it was very easy for me to make that decision. So I was away like from September, and just came back in December, and I feel like already I'm tired.
You're done.
I'm tired.
I hear you, sis.
Like, whoo, I don't think I'm like counting the days to closing it up again, and then I'm like, what? I can close it right now. There's nothing that I'm doing there. Actually, maybe just posting 1, 2, 3. I've actually not even posted on, like, commented on any public discourse, and I'm very happy.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased that these are conversations I can pick up with people who actually have my best interests at heart, and I can have this conversation with them. I feel on Twitter, I can have this conversation openly, and others will not be kind about it or be empathetic of having this conversation. The troll from that side of Twitter will come and attack me.
Are you being classist, Wandia?
Exactly. Such
You're being
things.
classist.
No, I'm not. Someone who's attacking me because saying,
From that side of Twitter.
when I say that side of Twitter, I mean the side that doesn't follow me and I don't follow them.
Okay, gotcha.
That's why I
Just
didn't put
checking.
any letter to
Twitter Z.
So that other side of Twitter that I'm like, who are you, firstly, for you to
Why
come
are
into
you
my
here?
mentions to ask me if the fact that maybe I got into a cab and something happened to me that probably I was the one who was no. So that's why for me I feel Twitter is it's a difficult place to have a conversation, a well-meaning conversation.
Okay, now speaking of conversations, have you ever deleted your WhatsApp or Telegram?
I've not deleted it, but
Uninstalled?
uninstalled. No, I have never,
Never.
ever.
Wow.
Yeah, but I feel like people who approach me on WhatsApp or Telegram are people who already know. I don't have random, like I don't encourage random conversations on those platforms.
Yeah. No, it's because when we talk about social media, we talk about Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, but we never talk about
Because people look at it as
WhatsApp
private
and
messaging. It's
messaging,
like
I guess.
texting.
But groups now, those kind of things.
Oh,
and
no. So groups.
I left all groups, all of them. I'm only in like 2-3 groups. I'm very proud of myself. And they are all like my friends and family. That's it.
Yeah. So on WhatsApp, I think I'm very intentional on those platforms.
Right.
Like,
And I feel like it should be that way
don't
across.
waste time on
But
them.
you're right. I mean, Twitter is a different animal. And I remember I was telling you, Anzia, that the people you meet off Twitter are not people you'd ever meet anywhere else. And that serves as an advantage because when you stop talking to them, you never meet them again. And that, for me, was one of the best things about Twitter, that all these people, even if we didn't kosana or we kosanad or whatever, when we stop talking, I am like 98% sure we'll never see each other because our paths are not like where we hang out is not the same. You know, the places we go to and all that are not the same. So we'll never meet. What brought us together was Twitter. You know, so I like that. I know it's a bad thing to say, but I like that about Twitter, to be honest. And there's someone who tweeted that, and so it made me think of people I've met off Twitter that I don't talk to anymore. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right. I've never seen them, you know, again.
I feel
Yay.
like whoever you were meant to meet on Twitter, you've already met them.
Amen.
And so we don't really need to now do it. Yeah. Oh, let's meet up. Actually,
No, but that might be an age thing. I'm sure the youngins are still like
they're
meeting
still there,
and
but
all
I
that.
think
You've reached your quota.
I'm good
Yeah,
now.
well, I am off Twitter.
Also,
so.
the fact that I'm not gonna be engaging that much on Twitter now, probably no one is looking like, ooh, one day I'd love to meet her.
Do you regret meeting anyone off any social media platform?
Oh yeah.
I am with you,
Like,
man.
Delete. Who's that? I don't know.
I don't
know them. I do. Who? Me? I don't think so.
No, I feel, and it's not like as in anything bad happened, but I feel like that was such a waste of my time.
That was enough. Like, yeah, and that's why I'm like, oh, I'm lucky. The ones who are still in my life, it turned out well. We good now. Like, let's meet from other places.
I
now.
know.
Let's meet face to face now. Because, yeah, again about this social media thing, it's a very curated. You don't know what you're getting. Someone has created this version of themselves,
and then they are a
that is what-
sociopath. In
Right.
when you meet them, they are pretty much
Right.
a sociopath.
And so this is the persona that I feel like I want to meet. And then when you meet up with them, it's you start to learn new things, and you're like,
That's so true. You're right. So the persona they present is the person you want.
Exactly.
And then when you get to know them more, and this other 90-80% that was not visible on social media, they're a total different animal.
yeah. So I'm just like, I'm done taking that risk. I will judge people by how they're behaving, in my face.
Yes.
People who I'll meet, in all these
In the
places
clubs.
I
Kiza.
well, I mean, if you're speaking for yourself,
Okay, that's a lie. I've been there once.
I was waiting.
Once, never to be repeated again.
Yeah, so I'm a very pro. Let's go back to the basics of meeting face to face. These things for Twitter, Twinder, Tinder.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Is that considered social media apps? No? Those are what? Dating apps.
Dating
Oh, we
apps.
should have an episode on dating apps. You know me, in my time, I mean, back in the day.
Craigslist.
We had
Am I gonna
Craigslist.
die or gonna date?
Yes,
It's like,
Craigslist.
And actually, the other day I was seeing on Instagram, there's this page called Personals. So people send, I think, to the curator of that IG account, a brief about themselves. Then people should message them or, something.
Excuse me?
I swear, it's
Is
like
it a
Personals.
Kenyan thing?
'Cause- No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
So, see, that's how Craigslist used to work. The
Yeah, you
personal
just put,
section.
you put as in, I'm looking for,
Yeah.
women for man to man, whatever.
Yeah,
And then you
exactly.
say what it is you're looking for. Is it a hookup? Are you looking to go for a date?
Yeah.
All that
all
stuff.
that
It was,
stuff. So I saw that and I found it pretty interesting. But
would it work in Kenya?
the get out. I mean,
Product
Let's
not
first
available
analyze
in your
Tinder.
country.
let's first analyze Tinder, then like, let's not get too hasty. Because, it's a bit messy. I don't know what exactly it is about Kenya or, let's say, Nairobi. But, hey, it's complicated. And I just don't know what it is. But maybe in other countries it is similar. I'm not sure. Yeah. But, yeah.
But because we get also curated stories on this
These
platforms,
true,
like, because we never, guys, we just make fun of like Tinder or all these Goldfish and whatever the other one is,
Bumble.
Bumble, guys will just make fun out of it. So we are not getting the experiences, and I really want, and maybe, Olivia really challenged me to be more honest about my experiences, and it's hard for me. I'm trying, but I wish we were more honest about it and not make everything, a joke or, whatever it is. But yeah, so I'm enjoying IG for some reason, which surprises me because I had sworn never. I was like Snapchat damo, but I feel like after that Rihanna thing, it was time to go. I mean, you have to take a stand at some point, and I took that stand, and I went to IG, and and that's my main of all this. That's the main app, that and my blog.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I feel like
That's where you find me.
When I joined first, I thought it was a very happy word, but I realized I just need to curate my timeline in a way that works for me and what I need.
All social media should be that way.
Yes.
Follow people who
Exactly.
you want to follow. Follow people who add something to you,
Yeah.
or at least don't make you feel sad.
Yeah.
Or they don't make you feel angry, or because I feel like one of the things that Twitter made me feel is anger, and it was not productive anger. If I'm going to be angry, it needs to be productive, not because some neglect said some nonsense thing without thinking,
Somewhat?
Neglect.
Well.
You know them. Just not like lack of thinking is a big thing. And I was getting angry, and I'm like, this is not productive anger. So,
And the thing is, it wasn't honest. Like, a lot of it wasn't honest.
That is the
Because
thing.
people, when you meet them in real life, they behave differently.
They are-
So I'm just like, what is it, this monster that Twitter, it just gives you, like, this terrible, poison in your veins that you just become and morph into this person who can't have a logical conversation. I mean, for real. There's people who have insulted me on Twitter, directly. Then we meet in real life, they're saying, let's hug. And I'm like,
I don't know you like that. Shonoka,
are you
are you all
what?
right?
Like, what is happening right now? I'm confused,
I've had many
it's
stories
weird,
like that. I mean,
right?
I don't mean to.
So that confuses me, and I was just like, this place is of the devil, and I don't like playing with the devil. Right? Simply.
Well, we could go on and on.
We could really go on.
But I think that is enough
yeah.
discussion. What is the conclusion? The conclusion is, do you? But if you're selling us something, excuse what I think. I mean, excuse what I'm already thinking when I'm consuming your content.
Yeah.
That's my conclusion. I mean, but let's all do you, and let's try, once in a while, let's, show what life really is like.
Yeah. Be honest. Have some vulnerable moments,
Oh yes, that's a topic we are gonna talk about.
As in, don't feel bad about unfollowing someone.
Yes.
Don't
if
think
it
twice.
doesn't serve
If
your
you-
purpose.
If you go to the timeline and see this account and you're just like, sis, do it today. Today,
Don't mute.
don't. Thank you. Don't mute,
Unfollow.
unfollow. Move on. And other people should also learn to understand that I've unfollowed you. It's not I stabbed you. Calm down.
And let's keep that energy also in real life. If you block me, if I've blocked you, let's not pretend when we
Yeah.
meet like we don't know each other. Let's just
Right.
ignore each other.
Right.
Let's keep that same energy.
Right. Whew, I love that. Keep that same energy on social media and then in real life. This thing for acting brand new.
Razin,
We're not taking it like this.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
never.
Keep the same energy. And I think we'll end it on that lovely note.
But as usual, Wandia, what are you listening to?
So I'm listening to Baz, B-A-S.
The Jameson guy, Connect guy.
Yeah, oh my God, his performance was really good.
You went
And
for Jameson anyway. I know you went for it. I cannot believe. And you had said you were not
actually,
going.
in some ways, I kind of,
Played yourself.
I kind of played myself because I was just like, whew, maybe it wasn't really 100%
What you should have done.
what I should have done that day.
But
But
here we are.
actually, the good thing is, I got to watch Bass. His performance was really good, and his album Milky Way is. I could listen to it from the beginning to the end repetitively. So I think that was a good output from it. Other than that, yeah, Shiko, what are you listening to?
I'm listening to Rationale. Do you even know who
That's a new-
Rationale is?
Wow.
I'm
See
just
now.
asking. I'm just asking.
Who's being classes?
Anyway,
Who-
so Rationale has a new EP out. I love Rationale.
I think I
and-
listened to an earlier album.
Yes,
actually.
the self-titled album.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
on December 7th, I don't know. Sometime in December, he released an EP. So it's been on rotation. It's called the High Hopes EP. You can check it out. It's only like 6 songs or something. I like Kindred and One on One. So, yeah, that's what I'm listening to. And thank you guys for listening. And we shall see you on the flip side.
This podcast is recorded at What's Good Studios, who also provide technical assistance. You can listen to this podcast on iTunes, Castbox, or anywhere you get your podcasts.